I know I've gone live a bit early. Just waiting for Marvin to come in, so I thought I'd go live. Hopefully, get some people in. So, Daniel Cheadle. I presume you want Marvin to do that shout out for you, bud. So I'll wait for him to come in. He should be here soon. He's waiting to come on. Just come on live. Hopefully, get some new people in. It's been a long week this week. Work's dragged. I'm sure it has for everyone. Be nice for the weekend to come. He's got quite a good story. A lot of quite a sad story, really. Big up, Wayne Bolter. How are you, buddy? How's your day been, Wayne? I can't see any numbers. There's no numbers coming up on the screen, so I don't know how many people are in. But you're definitely in, Wayne. Official Dr. Ratpole. How are you, Dr. Ratpole? Thank you for your voice message today, my friend. Really nice message. Thank you. Lee got punched at the 3D presser. I don't know if he did. I'm not really going to talk to him about the 3D Fight Club press conference. That is how I met. That is how I've not. Oh God, not. Who's there, Anderson? God's sake, what is he going to reply? Working, yeah, same mate. It's dragging down this hot weather, isn't it? It can drag you right down at work, drain the energy out of you. Yeah, all of us, isn't it? Like hard as the weeks go on. Yeah, and this summer seems to be flying by, doesn't it? All right, Slow Joe Kid. Oh, I like this. I like Matty, so thank you for that, though. Buying the 64. Oh, what? You still looking for it? Big love, John boy. Big up, Sam. Yeah, why is anyone bothered anymore, isn't it? You know, it's last week's fucking chip paper, isn't it? Everyone's so obsessed on YouTube, aren't they? With proving people wrong. I do understand. When people say stuff like, you know, the fair play to you, Anderson de Silva. Again, sometimes funny, sometimes I'm like, oh, what's he going to say next? Thank you very much, Sheila Shill Road's finest. All right, Doug Pinner, how you doing? Anderson de Silva, the Brazilian, the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, some say. Well, maybe John Jones. Yeah, I like Art Hostage. I am starting to think that Art Hostage has got a problem with the Furies, though. I reckon he might be like Mickey Theo's manager, Art Hostage. Bipolar. Sorry to hear that, bud. I hope you're on meds or something and it's controlled. Don't give or we got him here. Okay, so at the end, hopefully, he's going to start for about an hour, yeah? So I can't even see how many people are in. There's no numbers on here, but he's going to start for about an hour. So maybe about 25 past, half past, if anyone wants to come in. Sensible questions only. But I'm going to get him in.
Yes, Danny boy.
How you doing?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, mate. Thanks for coming on.
You're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. It's a pleasure.
Mate.
I've been watching you from day one. I think you're all right, Dan. Got a good content and stuff, buddy.
Thank you. Mate, like I first saw you before 3D Fight Club on Lad Bible, and I think it was a Porridge podcast.
Yeah, that's it. With Neil Samwith, Officer Samwith. Yeah, done a bit.
That's it.
Done a bit.
Then I saw you at 3D Fight Club, and you're obviously very recognisable. And I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. I was
funny. And then obviously you started following my channel from there. So I appreciate your comments on that, mate.
Oh, it's fine, mate. You're right, buddy. You're right. Yeah, 3D Fight Club was quite funny, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was funny.
I went to go and see a couple of people, and the Joyce family are a family who I used to roll with when I was a kid in Ancoats. So I went to see if I could see a couple of the Joyces whose faces I recognised. But anyway, I ended up speaking to little fighting trolls and whatnot, a couple of other people. And I seen a bit of commotion. So I seen Dan, I think Dan got whacked or something like that, if I remember. So I smoked over and started a bit of a scene, started kicking off, saying, yeah, you can't be doing this to him, and blah, blah, blah. And then I seen young, the Scouse kid, what's his name? Liam. Seen some young Liam Ditchy whack Dan. So as I smoked over, when I first went there, there was a couple of kids who he was with. He was with about 4 or 5 lads and a couple of girls. So they kind of surrounded me. I think one of them hit me on the slide. And as I've turned around to erupt, well, he erupted. I literally went and started going psycho. They've all backed out onto the car park. So I took my drama onto the car park, and what happened was I'm screaming for him to come back. I'm saying, get in now and let me get hold of you. Blah, 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 blah. Calling him every name under the sun, these little thugs. Because like I said, I'd let on to him earlier on in the evening. So I went trying to look for him in the car park, but they hid in the car. And then as you've seen, all the drama went on in the car park. Yeah, but I just thought it was wrong how Lazar got treated, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Even though he's a stranger, he's not from Manchester. And, you know, him getting like punched around a little bit wasn't very nice. But I understand the drama, what happened around that. But that wasn't my business, Dan. I was just more concerned about seeing that someone got home safely. Do you know what I mean? So I got in. Dan was with 2 lads. So I don't know where they went when he got attacked, because I was the only one there for him. And then we got in his mate's Porsche, and he dropped me off like at mine. So, but yeah, it was a bit funny that evening. It was a bit funny.
It was manic.
Since then, Liam said to me his 2 friends who like the 2 who was there. I don't know which one of them gave me a sly punch or tried to punch me. But he said on behalf of them, like, he apologises. Do you know what I mean? And Dean as well. Dean thought I'd come in a bit, because I come in and it was COVID times. I had a mask on and I had a hood on, so I didn't take my hood down. So when I've gone in there, you know, I've let on to Dean, like, we've touched gloves and whatnot, touched hands, and I've just been about and just nipping here, there, and everywhere, as you could see on the camera. But yeah, I just wanted to protect Lazar, really. I just thought it was wrong how he was getting punched about a little bit. And the crowd was kind of against him. There was people all laughing at him and stuff as he got banged. And I wasn't having that. I was giving it, nah, mate, I'm not having this. But I'm on the phone to my girlfriend as well, Dan, to Ciara, right? And and one of my friends is there as well at the house. So I'm kicking off, going up. Someone's just hit me, and she's going, don't you go sick, don't go sick. And I'm going sick. And when I got outside, I had a bottle, a glass bottle in my pocket all the way through the commotion. When I've got outside, I'm stood there talking to my missus and giving it, oh my God, I can't believe I never took the bottle out, you know what I mean? Because then it would have been a different matter. So thank God, like, I kept my senses and my calmness. And Ciara said, well done and whatnot, you know, for not flipping out. So in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't flip out, Dan, you know?
Yeah.
But it was good fun, buddy.
One of the stories that I will never get bored of hearing from you is about how you and your girlfriend met and the journey to where you are now.
What an incredible story, Dan. Well, I'll tell you now real quickly. Yeah, what happened with me and my girlfriend is something what is just one of a kind, and it probably never happen again. I just got out of prison. Some prison officer has fell in love with me in the jail. She's been sending me money through this different prisons as I'm traveling around from prison to prison. So when I get out now, she asked me to do a bit of decorating in her house. So I'm starting stripping the walls in her house and whatnot. And she's giving me like 100 quid a day, 150 quid every day. So I'm having that. But, you know, I'm still smoking crack cocaine as well because I had a drug addiction at the time, yeah. So I'm just buying bits, and I've just got out, and I'm under all these different, like, what do you call it, license conditions and whatnot. So I'm in town, and it's New Year's Eve, and I've just come from Moss Side, and I'm on a little BMX, Moss Side. I borrowed my mate's little BMX to just nip into town, and I've got down near Oxford Road, which is not far from like where the gay village and where all the working girls are and whatnot. And I see this guy who I know, yeah, and this guy, I absolutely cannot stand him. He's got his sister working as a prostitute. And every time I see him, he's always bullying girls and whatnot. And when he used to see me, he'd kind of back off and disappear. So I seen him with this girl, this young girl, and I say to him, yeah, mate, what are you doing with her? I said, I swear down, if I see you take her on that beat yet, I'm going to come for you. So he's going, oh, Marv, I'm not, I'm just going for a drink. And there's this girl who knows me, and I think knows Ciara, knows this girl. So I said to him, move. Well, so he's gone in there, he's gone in the shop, the off license and whatnot. So I've said to her, are you all right, you? He's going to put you in trouble, and he's just a dangerous, dangerous boy. He's one of these men who will beat you up, force you on drugs. He's just an animal. So I said, stay away from him. So I said to her, take my number if you need me for anything. Just give me a ring, yeah? So I gets off now, and I'm riding up the road, and she keeps coming to my mind, so I'm thinking about her, Dan. So I ring her, and I say, you all right, you girl? And she says, he's fucking just beat me up in the gay village. So I said, what? Let me come down there now. So I flew down. He's in the gay village bar. She's outside. I know the doorman on the bar. I want to get in and go and tear his head off. But the guys just go, just leave it. And she goes, just leave it. Get off. So I put her on the back of my BMX. So we go to my friend's house. So I sat with her talking to her, saying, what's going on with you? So she says, oh, I've been with him ages and blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying to her, listen, girl, like, this guy, he's proper dangerous. You know what I mean? He'll force you to do things you don't want to do, and he'll put you in situations you won't want to be in very quickly. So I said, you need to stay away from him, girl. You know what I mean? Try your best to keep away from him. So anyway, I say to her, if you ever need me for anything, just ring me, yeah? So the next day, I think she rung me, or I rung her, and I said, what's going on? Happy New Year and whatnot. And she didn't sound happy at all, Dan. She sounded like down and stuff, yeah? So I wasn't looking at it like a relationship, Dan. I was just trying to focus her mind to keep him away from this guy, keep her away from him. So I say to her, look, I haven't got like my own secure address or anything. If I did, I'd leave and put you up. Do you know what I mean? So she said, no, it's right, it's sweet. Anyway, I'm talking to her over a couple of days, and I'm buying the top-ups and whatnot, yeah? So what happens is, she phones me one day and says, he's just beat me up again. So I said, let me get to him. Now, where is it? And she goes, no, you can't. If you batter him, it's going to like... So I just thought a bit deeper into it, and where I was staying was at my niece's house. So I had a bedroom at my niece's. So I phoned my niece up and I said, baby girl, I've just met this girl. She's a really nice girl. She's only young. She's like your age, in her 20s. Well, she's your age, and my niece was 20 at the time. So I said, she's your age. She's having a bit of problems at home and stuff. Her home life's all a bit messed up at the minute. You know, is there any way she can come and stay in the room with me? Like, so she's giving it, nah, don't be bringing no fucking messy women here and all that lot. So I'm giving it, nah, it's not like that at all. So I bring her to the house now, and my niece had 2 young kids. So Ciara's getting on with them like a house on fire. So like I say, I've still got this crack addiction that I need to deal with. But I'm not one of them people who smokes crack round non-crack users. It's the last thing I do, yeah? So I've had this crack cocaine habit by then for about 10 years or so, 15 years. I got addicted to crack when I was a teenager. Like some girl kind of tricked me into trying crack. So I got addicted to crack as a teenager. I couldn't get off it. So I'm going about my business smoking crack and then coming back to see the girls, my niece and Ciara, like in the evening, bringing them takeaways, giving them phone credit, because it was phone credit times at the time. And I was just trying to focus her on staying away from this guy, you know what I mean? So anyway, the business with the prison worker starts getting a bit messy because I'm going to her house and I'm getting phone calls off the girls and stuff, and they're speaking to me. And this woman wants to get into me, trying to get me into like an exclusive relationship. But she's broke loads of boundaries, what she shouldn't have crossed, you know, because she was a condition of my license. I had to go and see her. And I'm sure the probation service wouldn't have been happy if they knew I was going to a house and decorating. So what had happened is I'd go start ripping paper off the walls and whatnot, and taking my top off, and I'd watch her drooling over me like. But she wasn't attractive, Dan, and I wasn't like going to prostitute myself to this woman. Do you know what I mean, buddy?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to let her know that I don't want anything like sexual with her, with this woman. I just want to do what she's asked me to do, which is like strip her walls, do a bit of decorating and stuff. So I'm pulling the paper off the walls, and I ripped a big hole in the wall one day where I pulled all the plaster off. Now, I'd done a plastering course when I was in prison about 15 years before, but I'd forgot everything what I had to do. I didn't have a clue what to do. I just bought some polyfiller and just whipped polyfiller on it, made it look reasonable, and anyway, carried on what I was doing. So what happened was, it comes to a head. This woman, she says to me, oh, I need my bedroom doing as well. So I thought, here's the chance now where she's going to try and throw it on me. So she said, I need my bedroom, something doing in my bedroom. So I said, go on, let's go and see then what you need doing. Bear in mind, this woman had like a teenage son. He was in his bedroom probably playing video games. So she's showing me something in the top cornice or something about these cornices, what she wanted taken. And next minute, she just throws the lips on me and starts putting her tongue in my mouth. But it was absolutely gross, mate. I wasn't responding. I just kind of froze. And she jumped back and said, oh, that's so unprofessional of me. I shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry. So I'm saying, no, it's all right. You're all right. You know, I understand, like, you know, it's one of those things, you know, I'm not like physically attracted to you. I'd just like to remain your friend and stuff. But she started sulking with me like I was in some relationship with her, slamming doors and, you know, not speaking to me and whatnot, and just like throwing the money I what I'm getting every day on the table. And I'm thinking, wow, this is going like, bitch, this is going a bit mad, this. So anyway, my niece's boyfriend has said to him, do you want to come down with me? You can help me do a few bits. But really what I was doing, I was just trying to keep her off me a little bit, that. So anyway, I took him down, and when she seen him at the door with me, she's like, what's he doing here? And I'm like, it's just my niece's boyfriend. He's just going to help me do a bit of the work in the house for you. And she's like, I didn't say that anyone else could come to this house. And I'm thinking, wow. So I've nudged him and given him the show and said, look, mate, this is bangers now, this, mate. This is just going to go up tits up. So, which it did. She was conditioning my license. She wrote this report saying, oh, he's not working with me and he's not doing this and he's not doing that, and got me recalled to prison. So I'm recalled back in custody for this relationship, whatever you want to call it, what's completely wrong. And Ciara's still at my niece's house. So anyway, I get some mobile phone. So I've got a phone in my cell. And I say, and she's ringing me and whatnot, and I'm speaking to her. And she breaks down one day and tells me that he's been battering her for ages. And that when she was 15 and she was gone away to school, he'd stopped in his car, told her he was 21 when he was 39. So she's got tied up with a 39-year-old madman who is just batters women and goes too far with girl, just takes the mickey. And she's 15 and he's 39. So when she tells me that, Dan, I beg her. I say, listen, girl. I say, that man was committing a criminal offence. He's a sex offender. And she's going, oh, I can't tell anyone because he's told me if I tell anybody, I'm a grass. So I said, you listen to me very carefully. I said, I've done so much jail in my life. I was born in prison. I was born in a prison, okay? My mum had me in prison. I was born to 2 drug-addicted parents. I got adopted. I spent time in an orphanage after the prison, spent months in prison, then went to an orphanage, what was near the prison, where they treated me like an animal. But that's another story. So anyway, I say to the girl, listen, it's not grassing because you was a child. You was 15 years of age when that man got hold of you. He is a sex offender, Ciara. I beg you to work with the authorities to get this man locked up. And she goes, you know what? You're probably right, because I've seen him with other kids in his house in the school uniforms and runaways. And I say, oh, girl, please, please, it's not grassing. It's not grassing. You was a child and he's committing a number of offences against you. He's beating you up. He's not happy. He's not content with having a child as a girlfriend. He's beating you up as well. I said, please go to the authorities. And she said, you know what? I was working with this team, but he scared me away from them. So I said, you need to work with him, girl. You need to work with him. I said, I will be there with you every step of the way if you promise me that you will do this. I said, you can phone me all day long on my mobile. I'll phone you all day. I'll keep supporting you. I'll be there for you. I said, just stay away from him. Get him reported to the authorities. So thank God she did. And I supported her all the way through the case and stuff because I was away for a good 9 months. And I supported her the best I could. I was sending her money, top up to me, and I was, sending money out and getting cash dropped off and whatnot, doing everything I could to try and make these people, my niece and this girl, happy, yeah? So we start talking like on quite a deep level. Like she's showing me that she cares about me and stuff, Dan. And I've not got anyone who cares about me, mate, because I was disowned by my dad, my adoptive dad, when I got addicted to crack. He wouldn't speak to me. So, as I say, I was an orphan, so I had no family. So she said to me, like, I want to go take things a bit further and whatnot. I want to try and build a relationship with you. So I said, you know what, girl? I'll speak to you and I'll try and build as much as I can, but I'm a drug addict. I said, I'm a crack addict. Do you know what that means? I said, I can never be living a normal life because I'm addicted to crack and I can't get off it. And she's saying to me, you can get off it. You can do anything you want. So when it gets out, I say to her, right, if you want this relationship to go further, I want the green light off your family. So she asked me, she told me she was 18. So at the time I was 33, which is quite a big gap, Dan, to be fair. Now it wouldn't be classed as right. But 18, I told her I was 29 because I never went a day over 30 because I'd never spent any time on the street. I was in and out of prison. So I always said to anyone I was 29. So she thought I was 29. She tells me she's 18. So I say to her, listen, the age gap is quite a considerable gap. I'm quite older than you. I said, if we want our relationship to go any further whatsoever, I need to meet your family and your family need to be telling me that that's okay, that me and you can start dating and stuff. And that's what I did. Went to her house with her Christmas Day, sat down with her dad, her brothers, her sisters, older brothers and sisters, and got warned. He told me, listen, she's had a really hard life, as you can see. You know, she won't settle problems at home with us and arguing and whatnot. But we can see you're a good guy, yeah, you know, and we can see that you do care about the girl a lot, which I did. I was growing, my feelings was growing for her, you know, because she was a very clever woman. But I wanted better for her, Dan. I didn't want her to be with a crack addict, mate. I didn't. I begged her to go and meet somebody else. I was saying to her, go and get a life with, you know, you're very pretty, you can do what you want. And her weight's ballooning. Like, she's going from like a size 16, 18, all the way down to a size 6 and an 8, Dan, yeah? So I know she's very, very stressed and got problems. And I didn't want to add to her problems, Dan, yeah? So me and her dad sat down, we had a good chat. And he said to me, look, I married at 16, my wife who I'm with now, yeah? We Irish, you know, you fall in love, and you fall in love strong, and you fall in love once. You don't fall in love 20, 30 times. You fall in love once. So if you believe that you can build something with this woman, you can try, yeah? And I said, all right, I will try my very best. But I wouldn't let her put my name down on the housing with her. Officially, we wasn't living together, because I was never there. I was always in custody. I was in and out like a yo-yo. So, because I had no family whatsoever, and she really built me up. She built me up, Dan. She told me I was better. So I never brought crack round her, never smoked it in front of her, never shown it her, never brought my drug habit anywhere near her. I'd go to Moss Side, or I'd go to Manchester City Centre. I'd be round the working girls and stuff, a lot of working girl friends who would make sure like wouldn't get bullied and whatnot, because I've been on them streets since I was a kid. So I knew all the working girls, and I knew everybody, and I knew all the robbers, I knew all the scumbags, I knew everyone. So I was doing my own thing, and then coming back to Ciara, and she's got a normal life with a dog and stuff. But my crimes, I'm a prolific offender. So I've got a police team who are on my case 24 hours a day, called the Spotlight Team. And it's a group of police basically who follow you from minute one to round the clock, 72-hour surveillance and whatnot. And what they're doing is, because they know you're a prolific offender, they know the chances are they watch you all day. They're going to see you committing crimes, okay? But because my crimes was very, very hard to detect, it was difficult to catch me at it, okay? So I would basically go to a car showroom, say to the fella, are all the doors open in these cars, mate? He'd go, yeah. I'd remember the catches, what the catches look like on the doors. So, for example, an Audi, if it's locked, there's a little red light that flashes. If it's a BMW or a Mercedes or a Volkswagen, if you see the catch up on the door, you know it's all open, the vehicle. So I'd circle my town and find car doors open, jump in, take the valuables, leave it so it didn't look like it was ransacked, jump in a black cab, go and sell all the stuff, and go and do the same again. Or obviously I was giving Ciara money standard. Like, so I'd phone Ciara random and say, Ciara, you know, sometimes a couple of grand out of a car, you'd be surprised what people leave in vehicles. So, for example, once I got like 3 grand out of a car. So I'm smoking in my friend's house in like a drug den, and her phones are up. And that morning, she didn't have enough for a loaf of bread. I remember we were skint that morning. And she went to Primark with a mate, and she texted me saying, oh, look at her, thinking she's smart in Primark buying stuff. And I said, listen, girl, I've got you a grand here. And she's like, what, you're lying? And I said, no, I'm not. Get a black cab. Come and meet me now. Got £1,000 cash for you. So she said to me she was with a mate all the way in the taxi, and she wasn't sure. She thought I was just chatting shit, but I wasn't. Anyway, I give her £1,000 and let her go about her business. So yeah, that's how we met, Dan. And I'm not one of those people who do multiple relationships and all that. So we've been together ever since, Dan. So we've been together 16 years now. And after 12 years, she had a baby. So we've got a baby boy now too. He was born on bonfire night. Very special baby. So yeah.
Mate.
Yes, Dan.
Sorry, can I just point one thing out? I don't know if you've ever thought about this, right? But obviously, you was born in prison. Your mum was a young girl, similar age to Ciara when you met Ciara.
Yeah.
You go into adoption. Years later, you become older, and then you see maybe someone who similar to your mum was at that age. Do you know what I mean? Is it?
Yeah, that's what it was down to. You know what, Dan? When I was born in distress. So when I was like a baby, I used to bang my head off the pillow repeatedly, banging my head off the pillow, and I'd be counting the head bangs off the pillow. I'd hold the pillow like I'm giving someone a cuddle, and I'd bang my head off it, bang, bang, bang. And I'd be counting to 1,000 and stuff, and then I'd be holding my breath to try and don't know what I was trying to do, but I'd see if I could hold my breath to try and stop breathing and stuff. So I'd have dreams that I was weeing the bed. I would have dreams that I was mopping the kitchen, but I'd wake up soaking wet in piss, yeah? So obviously I've pissed the bed in the night. But my adoptive dad, he was a Jamaican man, and he was very violent. He was very violent towards me. So he didn't know how to handle me when I'd wee the bed and stuff. So he beat me down, and he'd do some mad stuff, just horrible, nasty stuff. What I wouldn't dream of doing to a child. But I still care about him, and I still I don't forgive him what he did to me, because he hurt me, mate. He proper hurt me in my life, yeah? I was scared of him as a baby. I was scared of him as a child. I used to wake up when I was piss wet through, and I'd try and hide my bedding and stuff, yeah? Knowing that he's going to come up and smell the wee, find I'd got other underpants on and whatnot, and I'd have the accidents in the primary school as well, to where I'd wee myself and whatnot, and I'd have to take my underwear home in a bag, and I'd walk home terrified, just thinking, wow, this is mad. He's not my dad, because they told me from very, very young that I was adopted, Dan. They said to me that we picked you because you was very special. You had saucer-shaped eyes. Flying saucer-shaped eyes. So they told me I was a very special baby, and that my mum didn't want to give me away. So that confused me a lot. I used to think, well, if she didn't want to give me away, what happened? Why did she have to give me away? And my adoptive mum, knew that my proper mum was on drugs. So I think I got whispers of that when I was growing up. But I had an adoptive sister, and she got told that she was never wanted. So it troubled her all her life, and tragically she died last year, beginning of last year, 2020.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she had overdosed on prescription medication, and her daughter, the same girl who looked after Ciara, when I met her, she found her dead in her house, her mum. So yeah, that was a bit tragic. But yeah, going back to my dad, he was a bit sadistic, Dan. He was a bit of a madman. I'd always wished that he was an alcoholic, because when he drinked at Christmas, because he wasn't a drinker, but he'd have a drink on his work to do at Christmas. And he'd have a drink, and he'd come home, and he'd be the really nicest man you could meet. He'd empty his pockets of his change and whatnot. But then when he was straight-headed, Dan, he was just a madman. He was just always in my face, always, where you going, what you doing, Obviously, there was a few decent times with him, he'd take me to Manchester Airport to watch the aeroplanes take off. Like, we never went on holiday. Like, we never went anywhere. We just used to watch the planes flying off. So yeah, I was a very troubled little boy. And I used to go to berry trees and stuff, and I'd sit there and pick the berries off the tree. And I'd be looking and I'd think, where is my tree? I'm one of these little berries. Where is my tree? Where's my tree? That's what I'd ask myself all the time. So I'd run away from home as a kid. I'd tie up a thing like you'd watch on those movies where they get a piece of a fishing rod and they tie a little bag to the end. So I'd do that, take a bag of crisp and whatnot. And I'd run away, and obviously I'd be getting searched for because I'd probably be 7, 8 years of age. And the police would come, put us in a car and bring me back. So there was one time he went a bit too far with me, and I can remember my adoptive mum saying to him, "Don't hit him round the head." And that was a bit confusing for me, because she didn't say, like, don't hit him. She never stopped him and said, don't do it. She just said, don't hit him round the head and stuff. So that was a bit, because I loved her to bit. She was beautiful. She was wonderful towards me. You know, she was a very loving Welsh woman. She's long gone now. She died in 2013. But she used to tell me that my mum never wanted to give me away. And I'll tell you something else, Dan, what's crazy but true. I can remember the last time my mum had me in her arms. I can remember it. It's there. So when I think, I can remember the upset. I can remember me crying. I can remember my mum crying. So she's giving me away for the last time. And I can remember it very, very clearly for some reason. It's my first memory I've got of that happening, because I was very distressed after it for a long time. And when I went to the orphanage, I must have been a right handful, because they burnt me with a cigarette. I've got like this big cigarette, big dirty stub out on my back. So when I was growing up, my adoptive mum used to smoke a lot, and she said to me, "I never did it, son." And I would be like, "Did what, mum?" And she'd say, "I never burnt you." So I looked in the mirror one day and I seen this big burn on my back. And it was very, very upsetting, because I thought, how can someone do that to a baby? Like, burn them, you know what I mean? So I've spoke to my adoptive dad since then about that orphanage. And he said to me it was a very, very, very tough place. He said they used to feed the babies at 4 o'clock, and then they would lock the babies away till the next day. So it was obviously like where all the babies went to after they was taken from the mothers in the prison. So they obviously didn't treat you very well. So that affected me a lot growing up. I used to think about it a lot. And I'd spend a lot of time on my own and going in the empty mills and empty flats and whatnot. And at the time, the rage was all glue sniffing and stuff, okay? So one day I'm mooching in this house and I see this guy off my estate who's dead now. He did a burglary, and his artery of his leg got caught on the window and he bled to death on the window. So this guy, he was a glue sniffer at the time. And I've gone up this bedroom of this derelict house, derelict flat, like a row of masonettes, and one of them was derelict. And I pushed the door and it fell over onto him, because he was under loads of sheets, loads of blankets. And he pulled up and went, "Oh, what are you doing in here?" And I just like ran, scared little kid, smoked off. But I remember seeing all like the glue and all that in all carrier bags. And in the other houses, what had been in prior to that, I'd seen them. So I went back and I've seen all the glue and stuff, and I started blowing into it, trying to get this bag to light. So basically what I did is I stuck my hand in the glue with the bag, spun it round, and I started glue sniffing. And that glue took me to the place where I thought, where life was beautiful. It was just this colourful, vibrant, happy place where it was an escape. So I started doing the glue when I'd find it and stuff, and then the gas, started doing butane gas. So I'd nip my mum's butane gas, take it out the cupboard, and I'd sit there and do the gas. So one Saturday morning, I'm sat there, the family have gone shopping, Saturday morning shopping, I've got up late. So I go downstairs, sit in my mum's chair, get the tin of gas out, and I'm sat there like this. And I'm just in this another place, this real lovely place. And all of a sudden, I just feel what? As hard as a cup, bang, right across my face. And I thought, wow, this is a weird hallucination. And next minute, my sister starts going, what are you doing? What are you doing with the gas? And like, the gas has gone flying. And she said, I'm going to tell me mum, I'm going to tell when I get home. I thought, shit, I'm in big trouble here. And I remember my mum and dad come home. And she goes, I just watched him doing the gas. So like, instead of him going sick and like beating me up, you think he tried to sit me down. And he's like, why are you doing that? What are you doing that for? And I'm like, I didn't know myself what I was doing it for, Dan. I just know I liked it. So the gas started getting locked away in this little cupboard on you know, those big cabinets you used to get in the houses years ago. So it got locked in this little cupboard, but the spare key was in another thing. So I'd just go and I'd just sit there doing gas. So I was a bit troubled, Dan, because I'd be picking things up in shops and stuff. Like I'd go in the newsagents, like you see all the sweets and whatnot. So I'd pick a sweet bar up, and I remember I did it one day, and the shop owner told me dad, and my dad just beat me, wiped the floor with me outside this shop, and it didn't stop me doing it though. It just, I don't know why I was attracted to like steal. I do know now. I know it's like a comfort thing, Dan. Yeah, because much later on in my life, I was in Hindley YO Centre, and I'm getting all the bread. I'm going back to my cell with all this bread, and this screw says to me, "You're a comfort eater, you. You're missing something big in your life." And I shut the cell door, and I sat there and thought about it all night, what it meant, and I knew then what comfort eating was. Yeah. So yeah, it was just a comfort thing. I was escaping on the gas, and I was finding the glue and whatnot, and we moved house, and the houses was being knocked down. The masonettes we lived in was being knocked down and turned into houses. So they give us a house on another housing estate. Like it was only half a mile away, but to me it was like another area completely, because it was far away from the estate where I grew up on. So I felt very lonely on this new estate. But anyway, this guy I was seeing, met this guy, and I've got this games console. What I've got, I like a Spectrum or something, I think it was, something like that. So I'm playing on this Spectrum at home in my bedroom, and this guy out the flats, who was about 5 or 6 years older than me, he said to me, "Oh, I've got a Spectrum as well." So, "Oh, all right, yeah, sweet." So he said, "You can come to mine and I'll show you what games I've got." So we go to his house, to the flats. So there's these big 4 flats. Where we moved to, there's these big 4 flats will overshadow it. 12, 13 stories high. So we go to his bedroom, and he says to me, "No, it's not me who's got it. It's my mate in the other block of flats." So we go over to these block of flats, and this guy, he's in his 50s, and he's a paedophile. And he just pushed me in his bedroom, pushed this big wooden thing behind the door. He had this big wooden toolbox behind his bedroom door. So he just slid it across, and he just started licking my face and stuff, Dan, okay? And I'm just frozen in shock, and he rapes me anyway. So I go home, just like, wow, what's just happened to me. I can't believe what's just happened to me.
What age was you there?
11. We just moved as 11. So I was 11 and this guy rapes me. So I'm embarrassed. I'm thinking it's my fault. What do I do? What do I say? But because my dad didn't get on with him, I didn't like him as a person. I just didn't feel that I could tell him. I didn't feel like he was the person to tell. So I kept it a secret. And I go to school the next day, and I come home from school, and the guy's van is outside my mum and dad's house because he's a delivery driver. And his flat overlooks my house. So my bedroom window, I could look right into his flat from my bedroom window. And he could watch me on his balcony. So he's in my mum and dad's house. So I've walked in and I'm like, he's just been found out. It's brilliant. Like, you know, what they're going to say to him now when he's done this to me. So I walk in the house and he's like, oh yeah, there he is now. Nice one for going shop for my mum yesterday. Will you go shop for it again, like later on in a bit? And I'm just like, wow, this is fucking unbelievable. Like, I couldn't figure it out in my mind, Dan. I was too young to know it was wrong. I'd never been taught anything about sex or being love or affection. I'd never known anything about anything like that. So I'm going shop for his mum, going back to the house, and he's using me as his little, like, to his will, using me to his will. So I was very.
Was he convicted of anything? Was he ever convicted of?
No, he died. He died. No, he was never convicted.
Wow.
But he was a raging paedophile because he used to have other kids in his van. He was a delivery driver. And I used to see him with other kids in the van. I'd never see him at the house because his mum used to sit in the front room and just watch snooker or watch like the TV non-stop. And so you'd walk in his flat. His bedroom was right as soon as you walked in. The next room was his mum's bedroom. To your left side was the bathroom. And when you walked in the corridor, the end of the corridor was the living room. So I used to go in, get the gas, take myself away on the gas, and then what had happened would happen.
How many people do you know, like, that didn't survive like you have from things like that?
A lot of people, Dan. Like, I know a lot of people who died through joyriding and stuff of that nature. That's why I never wanted to learn to drive growing up. But it was I had a very hard time because I just play up in school. I was just playing up in school. And I was just acting like just causing pure eruption at home, just like just playing up and everything else, and just going to town after school and shoplifting and whatnot. So like I think now when I look back, I was trying to just cause attention. And like what was crazy was the caretaker of the block of flats lived right opposite him. The guy was called Jeff, I'll never forget him. So we used to mop the flats every day, all day, and he'd see me in my school uniform going to this man's house, and he'd never say anything. He never did anything. He never stopped it. Like, and he must have seen how many kids this guy was having in his house because he lived right opposite him. Like, so I could never figure it out. I was like, is this normal? Like, is this what everyone does behind closed doors? I couldn't figure it out. Like, if it's wrong, why is no one stopping it? Yeah, that's what my thought pattern was. So I just had to get on with it and I just lived like that for a while, and it tore me apart in more ways than one. Like, I hated the world. I hated everyone in it. I was mad at the world. I didn't like anybody. I didn't like anyone.
Who was the first person you told about the fear of being raped?
Probably Sam, Properly, Officer Samworth. He's the person who I told. Obviously, I reported it to the police, but he died by then. You know, the report to the police took a lot to do, yeah, because it went against everything that I'd ever learned as a kid or learned growing up. You know, but when I was an adult, obviously, I mean, in my 40s now I'm talking, I reported it to the police just for peace of mind. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think back then it was just everywhere, wasn't it? So
yeah, we're going back to the 80s, 80s, early 90s.
Earlier, 80s, Dan. Mid 80s, 85, 86. So I tried drugs very young. I was smoking weed and I was taking gas and I was taking LSD and I was taking whiz. And then it started, as I'm getting to like 13, I'm selling weed and I'm selling for this girl after school, this older girl. Me and my best mate, who's a couple of years older than me, is a bouncer now in town. Me and him used to work behind a wooden door with like a diamond-shaped spile in it, and we'd be pushing weed through the spile. And one day the taxman comes to rob us, and it's just all these older men off our estate. So they're like booting the door, going, open the door now, who's this selling on our estate? Me and my mate are stood behind the door thinking, shit, what are we going to do, man? We're going to get levered when this door gets open. Anyway, we opened the door and they're like, oh, it's yous. What? You know what I mean? He was like shocked it was us. So we thought, oh, wow. Like, we're known. We didn't think we was even known kids back then. But obviously, it's not a very big place. You know, it's right next to the city centre. It's big enough, but it's not real big. Everyone knows everyone. So everyone knew who he was behind this door. So then it was just normal then. That was my job. You know, I'd come home from school and I'd be selling weed through this door. And I was a troubled boy. I had to keep secrets. Okay? I had to keep secrets. So I think, you know what? I think when I think back, I think I learned to keep secrets when my dad was beating me as a kid. Because I can remember the drama what he caused through beating somebody else. Like he beat someone's kid, yeah? And I think the parents reported him to social security services because I can remember this big hoo-ha around him. And my cousin in inverted commas who it was, I still speak to her to this day, and me and her talk about it, and we say we was the only ones who used to level like that and beat that much. You know, we was terrified of him, me and her. And she was the one who told me that he got reported to social services. So he was a bit twisted. So I just basically didn't like him as a person. And so I just was living this lie. So I get nicked for robbery. I'm in the city centre anyway. I'm in and out of the city centre all the time. So I get nicked for a street robbery. I'm with my mate and he robs this guy of a hat and a bleeding. I ask him for a cigarette and I get nicked for a street robbery. So I've got this order to go to probation after school as well. So I'm going to probation after school. And as I'm growing a bit older, I'm realising that what this guy did to me was really wrong. Okay? But you know something? Back then, you didn't have a chance, mate. There was paedophilia everywhere. Paedophiles was everywhere. Yeah? There was people being hurt and abused everywhere when you look back now.
We never heard the word paedophile though, did we?
No, that's what I mean. Listen, mate, I used to buy bags of weed off a yardie called Pedo. And it was just normal, his name. Yeah? And that's when I was 15. So the word pedo didn't even exist then, mate. It wasn't even
No.
around. So it was just, there was no one talking about anything like that back then. So, you know, like now, people are incredulous that it could even happen. It still happens now. Don't get it twisted. So back then, it happening. Who's going to do anything about it? Do you know, I've even had the police come to me and ask me, did one of my school teachers do anything to me growing up? So one of my teachers at school, it turned out he was abusing some girl in school. And none of us knew. It was just a secret. None of us knew. So that was happening a lot back then. And it was just kept under the carpet. And so I was very, very troubled. I got expelled for playing up. And like I say, I just hated the world and everyone in it. I felt like I'd been burnt, I'd been battered, I'd been abused, drugs, just so like I couldn't figure out what normal life was, to be honest with you, what was normal and what wasn't. So I getting to 16, and my sister's working at a factory, a clothing factory. So she says to me, I can get you the job. So I say, sweet, I'll go do this job now. So I start this job, and they're putting rolls of big material on the carpet from a truck. I can't do that. It's too heavy. The rolls are too heavy for me. So I say to the manager and whatnot, I can't do it. It's too much. He said, all right, give you another job. So what I had to do was I had this big, massive, say, 1.5 meter wide container, like a big cage on one of those pulleys, what you push up and down, yeah. So I'd go along the lines of all the women cutting off cuts of all the material, because it was a quilt cover and pillowcase and curtain factory. So I'd be doing all the pillows and pillowcases and whatnot, getting all the offcuts. So I quickly found that I was doing the 4th floor and the 3rd floor, and the 2nd floor was the stores. So I'd stop at the 2nd floor, throw a couple of boxes of product into all the material, wheel the thing outside into the car park, and I'd throw the boxes over the wall, and after work I'd go round and collect them, and I'd go down to my estate, and I'd sell them for like tenner each and 8 quid each, these quilt covers and pillowcase sets and stuff. So I'm doing that. So I'm supposed to be getting paid on the Thursday. So this is the Tuesday now. So I've done the same thing what I've been doing for days. And the manager comes running out and goes, I've just been watching you. I knew you were stealing. Phone the police. So he phoned the police. So I get sacked. I don't get paid because it was a week in hand. So I don't even get a wage from there, and I get sacked. So I'm just still back to selling bits of weed and whatnot. So I'm just trying to do that. My mate's got a job. So he's working on this big massive building in the city centre. So we started selling drugs and stuff, and then the party scene started. The Summer of Love, 1987, 1988. Is when all the rave scene started. So there was one of the biggest clubs of that era was on my estate on the main road. It was 200 metres from my house. So I was 13, 14, going to the rave parties, taking acid and taking E's and stuff like I was a veteran. And I was just taking drugs. Very, very young. When I look back, I was a very young boy. A very immature boy. 13, 14, yeah. I'm taking the heaviest drugs you can. So I enjoyed it. It was a good time. But I was addicted to drugs then. So then when I'm 17, I'm in a club one night and I see this girl. I'm dancing with her. And bear in mind, I've got a girl at the time who I met in the club in the factory. but we didn't get on. We didn't get on. We was two kind of different people. Like she liked to drink at home and liked her alcohol, and I wasn't a home drinker. I was a partying person. I wanted to go out raving, and she didn't get into all the raving stuff. So she was like a different kettle of fish to me. But I cared about her and stuff, and we had an half decent relationship while it lasted. But her dad was my dad didn't like people of colour in the nicest possible way. He didn't know any better. Back then he was just stuck in his ways. So he used to live at the bottom of the flats. So he used to, when he'd come to the house, I used to have to hide in the house and stuff. And it was getting a bit ludicrous. Anyway, me and her are arguing a lot and whatnot. And then she comes up and says to me, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, wow, seriously? You've just got pregnant? And our relationship's not even concrete. I don't even own a spare pair of trainers. You know what I mean? Never mind, I've got money for the baby and stuff. Yeah? So I'm like, this is crazy. I was going to have a baby as kids. Like, you know what I mean? We was too young to have a baby. Yeah? But if you put your bits there, you've got to take responsibility, haven't you, quickly? But like I say, I'm still into the party scene, and she's not living at the flat now. She moves into her mum's house because she needs support because she's pregnant. So she moves into her mum, so I've got the flat to myself. So we're selling drugs from the flat, me and her. Only weed and trips and stuff and whatnot. And then I'm going out to clubs and selling at the night time. So I'm there one day and there's this really nice girl dancing, and she says, oh, do you want to come to mine? We'll have a chill and a buzz at mine. So I said, yeah, sweet. So I go to her house and sat there, and she says, you ever took cocaine? And I said, well, not really. Like, I have done, but I've never took it heavily, you know what I mean? I've just had little dabbles of it. I'd never snorted it. I just smoked it in joints and stuff. So she said, yeah, I try this, and next salute she puts a big crack pipe in my mouth, and I suck the pipe of crack, and I am immediately addicted. That's why I would never give people crack to try, because I become addicted the second I tried it. As soon as I blew that smoke out, I knew I was addicted, because I tried every other drug before that, and none of them had took me to the peak that crack did. So like I say, I was a veteran drug user by them times. So I quickly became addicted to crack cocaine. And because I was selling drugs at the time, I got away with it for a long time. Like, not a long time, but I could handle a drug addiction with my money I was earning off selling drugs. So I'm going to the Hacienda and whatnot, and these super clubs, and I'm selling drugs in them. And then I'm getting away with it for a bit, smoking the crack. So at the time, you couldn't buy crack cocaine after 10 o'clock at night. You could only buy it in the ghetto, which was Moss Side. So you couldn't buy it anywhere. So after 10 o'clock, that's how immature and unknowing the drug dealers was at the time. Because they'd switched the phone off at 10 o'clock. You wouldn't dream of switching a crack phone off at 10 o'clock now. But at the time, that's what he did. So I used to I'd buy a parcel of crack, I'd smoke that, and then I'd go to Moss Side and go and buy more crack and let that last me through the night. So I'm running out of options. I can't keep the crack going and selling drugs as well. So I give my mate my drug business, and I'm an addict by then. My life's going downhill. I get arrested for selling fake pills in a nightclub. Get put in the newspapers and whatnot. So I'm bangers. I've been nicked for robbery already. So then when I'm 20, I get a nick for another couple of robberies. These guys selling heroin on my estate. And I wasn't having it. I was like, nah, this ain't happening. These boys ain't selling smack on my estate. So I go to the house, and there's like 5 of them in the house selling drugs. But I've seen this guy on the way down, this lad, and then recognise his face. And I said, do you want to do a quick graph with me? And he said, yeah, I'll do it with you. So I say, get this machete, put it down your coat. So I said, you don't need to pull it out, just keep hold of it for me, just in case it goes tits up quickly, yeah? So I go to the door, knock on, say, yeah, mate, what are you doing selling smack on my estate? This ain't happening, mate. Do you think this is fucking Smack Town? I said, nah, mate. Get your wrap your smack parcel up and get your foot back off to the estate where you come from, yeah? I've gone in the house and I'm picking the gold up and I'm picking the smack up, I've picked the money up. I've gone through the pockets and took the shit off him. Took a gold bracelet off one of them. A couple of days later, get rushed off the police. I get arrested for robbery times 2. So 2 of these guys had said that I'd robbed them, drug dealers. I'd robbed the drug dealers. So I get arrested for it anyway, and I get bail. So I've got bail, and where I'm chilling at the time, I'm chilling at my mate's house opposite this supermarket. So one day I'm sat at the window and I see one of the guys who blew me up at the supermarket. So I ran over and said, "Gee, what are you doing blowing me up, you little shit?" Flicked his legs from underneath him, put my knee to his chest, and I'm giving it, why did you phone the police on me, mate? You better sort it out. He's only got up and gone straight back and told the police that I'd beat him up. So I get remanded and I walk into a prison cell to a bed frame. It was slop out at the time. It was just a piss bucket in your cell. So it's slop out. And there's all these millipedes and centipedes running around the metal cage of the window. And it smells of piss strong. The strongest smell of piss you can imagine. And shit mixed together. So there's a bucket in the corner. And you had to use it at night. So the thing was, if you was in a cell with someone, you wasn't using that bucket. Yeah? Because it's disrespectful prison etiquette, okay? No one would use the bucket, so you'd have to piss through the window and you'd shit in a piece of paper, A4 paper, fold it up dead small, and you'd chuck it out the window. So that's what I was doing. I was slopping out around all these young guys at the time. They were building reputations for themselves. Now, like at the time, they was youngers, but now he was gang leaders, leaders of the Pepperell, leaders of the Gooch, leader of Doddington, leaders of Pitbull Crew. So it was a bit of a mad time, but like I say, I was getting a bit of a name for myself for selling and stuff. But like I say, I was addicted to crack. So I started rolling around the streets doing robberies with working girls to make a few quid. Like if I'd seen one of the working girls, I hated them doing business. I hated it. It'd break my heart watching these girls have to sell the bodies, yeah? So I'd say to them, listen, girl, I'd say, here's what we'd do. I've got a mobile phone, which mobile phones was brand new then. I'd say, all as you do, go round the corner with him, put his pants round his ankles, and I'll be there in 2 minutes. So she'd fiddle about with him, put his pants round his ankles. So I'd spin round and go, police, what are you doing? The classic move, pretend to be a police officer, take his money, take his wallet out, take the money out of his wallet, but I wouldn't take the wallet, and I wouldn't take wedding rings, or because I'd know if you're taking stuff like that, there's a chance they're going to go to the police. But if you just take the money, the cash out the wallet, and you just put it, you know what I mean? I'd do that. I'd give them the wallet back. So I managed to do that for quite a long time. And what we was doing was I was going with working girls and going to Moss Side and getting them the drugs, and then I was going back to town and whatnot. And in the end, they ended up moving to Moss Side into squats. So I'm living in and out of squats in Moss Side. And I think we should do a part 2, Dan, don't you?
Definitely. I know you've got to go, don't you?
Yeah.
I know you've got to go at night.
Yeah, got the baby to deal with, mate. Ciara's
All
baby.
right.
Mine, Ciara's baby.
We are going to do a part 2.
Questions? I'll tell you, let me just speak a little bit on meeting Ciara, Dan, okay? So now, it wouldn't be dreamed of that a man in his 30s would be with someone 18. It's just not right. It's inappropriate. And even then, I was saying to Ciara, Ciara, you're too young. You're too young for me, girl. And she's saying, no, I'm not. I'm a big-ass grown girl. I can do what I want. Yeah? And I'd be like, wow, this girl knows what she wants. And she'd say, I'm a one-girl man, one-man girl. I don't want to be with anyone else. I want to be with you. So I had to do a lot of thinking and a lot of thinking, mate. A lot of thinking. That's why I said to her, I'll do you a deal. I said, you better get speaking back to your mum and dad and stuff. And if your dad, because I didn't think he'd really say okay, but I said, if your dad gives us the green light to start dating, yeah, start getting to know each other, I'll agree to it then. And she takes me to her mum and dad's house on Christmas Day of all days. Oh my God. So I'm this boy in a big house full of this massive Irish family. And I've got a grilling round the table. But you know what? Like now, back then, there was it wasn't it was just we didn't look at our ages. You know what I mean? Obviously, I talked to her about it and I've just explained that. But it was love. She loved me so much and I loved her. She was really growing on me, a strength of her going to court and have to give evidence and have to explain what a man did to her when she was a child. Yeah? And she kept reminding me that she ain't no child. She's a grown-ass woman. You know what I'm saying? So, like I say, it'd be frowned on now. Yeah? And that's why I said to you, our relationships are one of a kind, mate. So I'm this guy who's running around these streets like a madman, but at home, I'm like a big teddy bear. She wears the trousers, mate. Honest. She's the one. She's a strong-ass Irish girl, mate. She knows what she wants out of life. And ain't no me stopping her, Dan, getting what she wants. When she wants something, she gets it. So, I think we should do a part 2 soon, don't you, Dan?
100%.
100%.
Definitely.
Right, definitely.
It's been really nice speaking to you, Danny boy. And
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks everyone in the chat. And we'll do a part 2 very soon.
On the part 2, I'll get people into asking the panel to come and speak to Marvin.
All day. If not, you know what, mate? I've not even got into... let me just jump forward a little bit. You remember when the Spice was hitting Manchester City Centre and the world's press was going to the city centre watching people falling over and stuff? Do you remember the Spice epidemic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm partly responsible for that. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Is I'm trying to share my experiences because I brought Spice to Manchester and I will never forgive myself because a lot of people died off it, Dan. Killed a lot of people. And at the time it was a legal drug and you couldn't buy it in Manchester, and I brought it to Manchester and I was giving it to people saying, try this, it's better than crack. And I killed countless people, Dan. I killed countless people. And I will not forgive myself. So what I do now is why I'm telling this. Because I've got this. See this, Dan? See that sword?
Yeah.
That's the sword of truth. That is a genuine Conan sword, okay? This is my truth, Dan. Yeah? So this sword is my truth. So that's the sword of truth. I can't pick up, it's too heavy for me, mate. That's another story. Yo, Danny, it's been really nice speaking to you and everyone in the chat. Thank you for your comments. You know, everyone's got an opinion. I mean, like I say, I'd have an opinion. Yeah, I'd have an opinion. So, all opinions are very, very welcome. Thank you very much, guys. And I will speak to you again soon. Okay?
We'll see you on part 2.
Part 2. Bye, mate. Bye.
Cheers, buddy. I'll speak to you later. Wow. Well, that was wow. That was quite hard to listen to some of that, especially when I'm sorry for people, anyone I didn't answer. Obviously, I didn't want to interrupt him, but on one of the next ones, we'll do one where people can come in and ask these questions. I wasn't deliberately ignoring anyone, but you know, when the guy speaks, you want to listen, don't you? It was amazing. It's sad as well. I mean, you know, some people have, you know, the odd bit of trauma. This fella's had it like from birth, basically, from when he was born, and what he's doing with his life now. He's got, you know, he's the Ciara lady. The fact that you know he was born by a young mum in a prison, and like years later he rescues this young lady from the clutches of evil. Basically, I don't know. It's kind of it's a nice story, isn't it? But it's very very sad story. I don't think I've heard anyone that's had that much that much bad stuff happening in their life. It's quite horrendous. Thank you very much, Kenzie. Big love to you, Ciara. I look forward to getting you both on again. It's really, really, it's amazing how he can tell it as well, you know, because a lot of people wouldn't, especially boys, you know, bad things happening to boys as kids. I think it's hard for girls to come out and say stuff, but boys, you can imagine, you know, we're boys, aren't we? You can imagine how harder it is for a boy to admit that than it is for a girl to admit it, you know, and most of the time no one admits it anyway, do they? So you've really, really got to respect him for, you know, opening up. And I really enjoyed his Lad Bible interview. That was brilliant. And, you know, we're going to extend on that now with his story. But I think him and Ciara have got their own podcast. But if you haven't checked him out, go to the Porridge podcast, I think. Smackhead Stacey, how are you? He is a legend. Go and watch it. And the Lad Bible one, if you haven't seen that, it's kind of what we spoke about tonight, but they cut it down. But, you know, we're kind of going to go subject at a time. And, like, for anyone, like men, women, how him and his girlfriend met, I mean, it's the most crazy. It's like Pretty Woman, but the complete opposite, isn't it? Like, a complete opposite situation. There's no limos with a bloke hanging out the top of it. You know, they're on the streets. You know, and that girl, Ciara, was basically being led to either death or just a life of torture and, you know, drugs. You know, these people, they get girls addicted to drugs, young girls, and then once they're addicted to drugs, that's how they manipulate and, you know, use them to the situation, whether it be crack, heroin, you know, and they have to get them on them class A drugs. It's a bit hard to get, you know, someone who smoked weed or anything. They need to get them on the hard addictive drugs, you know, the ones that they crave and really need to survive. Heroin, crack. Yes, people. Thank you very much, Smackhead Stacey. It was quite powerful, and it was I can't say it's a nice story, but it's good to listen to the story, you know. And you know me, normally I try and interrupt people or shut them up and move on, but you know you can't with Lee, no way. So don't forget to hit the likes. Thanks for everyone's support. I've had a lot of message off Instagram after the weekend, but these particular ones like tonight, that they have a different meaning and a different reason. And I thank Lee Marvin because he has generally comments on loads of the stuff, and he has followed me since 3D. And I thought he was a fake at first, you know, coming in conversations because people make up fake names, and actually quite relieved that it wasn't. And he obviously knows the channel, and it's true. So, and I could see some of your comments here tonight that some of you have had similar upbringings or you can relate to Marvin. I think a lot of us can in some way, but or different experiences that he's spoken about. But like I think drugs is the main one. But you know, some of the stuff he went through as a child is you couldn't even imagine it. You couldn't even imagine it. Could you, just being born in prison? I mean, and he clearly remembers it because he remembers being like basically taken away from his mum. So it's strange. I did want to ask him. I'm going to next time, like when he first went back to prison after, after being born there, the very first time he went to prison, did he feel at home? Like, did it feel like he'd been there before, even though he's only a young baby? I don't know. I don't pay attention to anyone. I don't see the keyboard, whatever they are. They're a bit irrelevant, people coming in. We've had a couple in here tonight, but it's been all right, hasn't it? But stupid names, making stupid comments, it's just kicked out. That's the thing, Cara. I believe that as well. I believe, like, in about 9 years, we're going to be doing part 137. And there'll be like 1 million people watching every one then, because he's an inspiration to people, a massive inspiration. Like, if there was more people like him around, like, the world would definitely be a lot better place. Tragic life for him to start, but look how he's finished. Well, not finishing, he's still got years left yet. It's amazing. We will definitely do a part 2, people. Don't forget to hit the likes. Thank you for everyone coming in. Like, I haven't stopped for like 2 weeks. He said the only place that felt like home. Thank you, Cara. Thank you for answering that. Yeah. We'll have one whole show one time where we just all can ask him different questions. Because the story's so powerful and we need to hear the rest of it, don't we? So, thank you, everyone. We'll definitely have a part 2. Obviously, I think Ciara and Lee Marvin have got their own podcast, so they're starting it. So, I'll get some information for that, and I'll try and put it in the description of this video. Thank you for everyone coming in, and like thoughts of the evening. If ever you're in a shit situation or anything like that, just think about Lee Marvin and the life he's led, and maybe some of our problems won't seem so bad, They certainly shouldn't. I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you for watching. Big shout out to everyone, especially Lee Marvin, Ciara. Thank you for coming in the chat. Ciara, if you're ever in the chats in the next ones, and I can't interrupt Lee. If there's any questions you want to write down and ask him or whatever, and we'll get him on the next one. Be safe, everybody. It's Friday tomorrow. Last day at work. Hope everyone finishes early tomorrow and has a whole weekend off. Thank you very much. Peace out to you, Richard Reed. Ciara, look after yourself. Thank you, everybody.